Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, entitled parent demands her kid be basically told the answers in school rather than the kids that need it. Entitled airline mom. Ever point out something your mother did wrong and you get the silent treatment as a result? Yeah, we're on day 4 of this BS. Update: ever point out something your mother did wrong and you get the silent treatment as a result? Yeah, we're on day 4 of this BS. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled parent demands her kid be basically told the answers in school rather than the kids that need it. So in this school, certain kids get support, and those kids are usually ones which have mental issues like autism, ADHD, or if they have anger management issues, etc. etc. Anyway, this parent just decided that her child is so special that her kid should get support despite the fact there's nothing wrong with him. Now I help many kids with their issues, and at this time, I, 27F, was helping an autistic girl that left 5 to 10 minutes early. Sounds like useless info, but hold on to it. This woman came in and decided that her kid needed support, and the people in the office were more than happy, but they obviously asked, "So does your child have any mental disabilities?" This mother was so offended that the office lady even alluded to the idea that her dear sweet daughter had a mental disability. What? Are you trying to say that there's some sort of issue with my daughter? No ma'am, it's just that it's mostly only the children with mental disability. My child is not like those autistic kids. Now she, as you could expect, did not say autistic kids, and the office ladies were shocked at what entitled mother had just said. That. Ma'am, you cannot say that. Oh, I will absolutely get you in so much trouble if you do not get my angel this support. The EP went off on a rampage to this poor office lady who had basically just been hired cause I said she should get the job there, and she decided to get help for this parent. She got 3 people to help her fight back the demon of a parent, while this EP's poor daughter was so scared and looked like she was afraid that she would get in trouble. At this point, I was sat in music with the girl I was helping, but I got called to the office, which was annoying. I like some relaxed art, okay? Me, the head teacher and head of year 9, 10th grade I think, showed up. I was just there to explain how teaching assistants worked. Finally someone showed up. Ma'am, I'd like to inform you that while we respect your request, we cannot give your child this support. Oh, but the autistic kids can. Once again, didn't call them autistic kids. Why do all these kinds of people hate mentally disabled people? Genuine question. Now, I have mild autism myself, so I just stood there in shock and confusion. Sadly, the EP had the usual blow up and security was called to kick the EP out. However, this EP refused to leave till the security grabbed her by the arms and dragged her out as the child was on the verge of tears, thinking she was in trouble. As I was calming the daughter down, all that was heard was, "Get off of me. My daughter needs that support." The daughter looked at me and said, "Don't worry. I don't . Yes, you do." The daughter then ran off to her mother as we all kind of laughed and shook our heads. Sadly, she would come back, but I really don't have the mental capacity to write a 4,000 character story currently, and I doubt anyone would read it. I do feel bad for the daughter and office lady though. The daughter probably didn't ask, but just saw one of us helping a kid, and the office lady had been there for like 3 weeks. Anyway, what do you all think of this situation? That's the kind of parent that, 1, should have found a better kinder family for her daughter to live with. And 2, the kind of parent that I would light on fire. I don't understand the entitlement of some people. I'm sorry you and your friend/colleague had to go through that. I'm interested in the fallout, if you ever decide to post it. Hopefully the parent got what she deserved, a swift reality check. I wonder if the daughter could have special services to help her grow up normal with those parent. Ma'am, we've decided to reverse our decision. Clearly having you as a parent is a severe handicap, worse than even severe autism. I'd get the parent trespassed from the property. Hard for her kid, and it's a slippery slope for her future. It is also obvious that EP has no understanding at all about autism or other disorders which can require educational assistance. Is there another parent to get involved? Maybe they know she's a monster. That poor kid needs help. If anyone was wondering, yes, the EP and autistic girl have met, and yes, she had a mental breakdown over her. I wish I had this kind of support when I was a kid, but I was only diagnosed a couple years ago at 31, and even then support like this didn't really exist anyway. Luckily my daughter just started getting some in-school support now. I hope she'll have a happier school life than I did. What people don't always realize is that this support isn't needed because neurodivergent people aren't as smart or intelligent as their neurotypical counterparts. It's because the world, including schools, is structured to cater to neurotypical people, so neurodiverse people sometimes struggle because they may need to learn in a different way. That's the reason I came into this job. To give the people the support I never got. Maybe the mother is the one with mental issues? Not as far as I'm aware. I believe she's tested herself before and she's not been diagnosed. Some people are just like that, I suppose? Entitled Airline Mom. So I work for a major American airline. Literally AA actually, and I've had a plethora of EPs call me in my career so far, but this story takes the cake. So I pick up the call. Thanks for calling American Airlines, how can I help you? EP, yes, I'd like to get seats for my flight. Me, do you have your record locator/confirmation number? EP, no, but I've been on hold for an hour. Me, okay ma'am, do you have anything I can use to help you look up the flight info? 10 minutes later. Me, okay, I see this is a Costco travel agency third-party booking with British Airlines, but as a whole domestic flight. What this means is for some reason Costco booked this passenger on flights within the US, but technically BA controlled the flights. This means there will be an external reservation fee of $50 person per person. EP, okay, I just need flights so my family can sit together. Me, pulls up the seat map. Okay ma'am, I see we have paid seats available to sit your family together as they are the only seats left open on the plane. EP, what? I'm not going to pay for those seats. You all need to accommodate me as I have a 15-year-old that isn't sitting near me. Me, well ma'am, I am just telling you what I have available as Costco booked the seats how they did when you were booking with them. EP, my 15-year-old will have an anxiety attack if you don't sit us together. Me, ma'am, while I understand what you are saying, 15 is old enough under our rules to be a young adult traveling alone. EP, well you are going to have a Y88 that has a panic attack if you don't give me those seats UF and $cur. Me, ma'am, do not curse at me again or I will end the call and make sure the next agent that gets a call from you understands how you treat us. EP, okay, I'm sorry, God, please don't hang up on me. So what can you do to sit us together? Me, again ma'am, we only have the main cabin extra seats available. I cannot unassign other passengers from their seats. EP, you know I don't like your tone, you have a bad attitude. Me, ma'am, I am just working within the rules corporate has given me. EP, listen here, UF and $cur. Me, and I'll be disconnecting to you your bad attitude. Handle the Karen perfectly here. Next customer service rep may get a more polite Karen as a result. Click. I can disarm some, but others just think I'll give them free first class. No, I won't if you're being horrible. I might if you are a decent human being and we just messed up your vacation at the last minute. Even then, that is rare for me. Not everyone is getting an accidental upgrade to first class because I forgot to set up the downgrade from first to main cabin. You have to be having a truly shitty day for me to be willing to put my job on the line like that. Dear EP, In light of your treatment of staff, we have upgraded you to be loaded in the baggage compartment so that you can all be together. Have a nice day. I am betting the 15-year-old will be thrilled not to be seated with the parents. Dang, that is some aggressive stuff right there. It's good that you have a company that allows you to click on people who are being hostile. I don't get why she is calling to get that arranged after the fact and not when she booked and paid for the seats in the first place. Some people book the cheapest seats possible, which often do not include the ability to choose your own seat. A lot of parents will buy them, figuring they can just play the "you wouldn't separate family" card with the airline and other travelers to get the seats they want. Who wants to bet that the 15-year-old in question would much rather have a seat away from mommy dearest? Never by third party. How hard is this to understand? We always book with the hotel or airline we are using, sometimes I even call the actual hotel I'm going to. It has always served me well and isn't difficult to do. If you book third party, the airline/hotel may have no interest in helping you when you get into a situation where you need help or you will be low on the totem pole. Source: me, my family travels a lot and by the end of next week we will have secured executive platinum level again with American Airlines. Ever point out something your mother did wrong and you get the silent treatment as a result? Yeah, we're on day 4 of this BS. So, when I was younger and did something bad, my mother had this annoying as fuck habit of lecturing me until I was almost blue in the face. This would be fine if she only did it once. She'd lecture me for an hour or so, leave me alone, get a second wind and come right back at me half an hour later. Then I'd get the silent treatment for a day or so, I'd dare to ask her something and she'd find a way to go right back to that same lecture a few more times until I got tired of hearing it. After apologizing so many times, acquired a bored monotone, she'd get enraged, and the lecture reset switch was flipped. Now that I'm older, and she does something wrong, I correct her once, and sometimes, before I can get the sentence out of my mouth, she gets irritated saying, I got it, basically trying to shut me up. I point out the hypocrisy, she goes silent. Usually when I come to visit we talk all the time. Once I pissed her off, however, she refused to say a word for 3 hours. I refused to act like I cared and just left. She has not said a word to me in 3 days. And she usually calls me 4 to 5 times a day. Then when she finally needs me for something, she twists it and acts like I'm the one ignoring her, and she's apparently being the bigger person by finally talking to me. I'm so sick of dealing with this, yet NC is not an option. Anybody else dealing with this? Any point in trying to get a 68-year-old to change her ways? I mean, I admit I have extremely petty instincts when it comes to these things, but next time she needs you for something, and she will, just ignore out of her for a while. Honestly, I'm doing it now. I'm enjoying the silence even though I'm just tired of it all. You're an adult now and don't have to take her abuse anymore. Those days are over. Put her on notice. And do not put up with her shit. Sounds like she has solved the problem herself by not talking to you. Sounds good to me. Info: what's holding you back from going NC or even LC? She doesn't seem, based on this post, to actually add value to your life based on how she wants to act like a toddler rather than a grown adult. If she only calls you when she wants something, why stay? She has disabilities that limit her mobility and have wrecked her hands, and she needs me to drive her everywhere because of said disabilities. The trade-off is I get to live in my grandmother's house. That's why I haven't left and feel pretty obligated to stay. Oh boy, I feel this. I used to do this when my kids turned to teens. I knew it was pointless, I could see in their eyes when they stopped listening. I carried on regardless, just wanting to reach them. Thing is, I acknowledge I did this. I admit it was stupid, to them, often. It has become a family joke, lol. Hilarious thing is, my eldest daughter rang the other day. She found herself doing the same thing with her nearly teen son. Oh dear. Sorry, kid. I did that with my daughter exactly once. She said to me, Mommy, stop acting like a spoiled brat, you're a grown-ass adult, start acting like it. Use your effing words. Then she shook herself out, took a deep breath, and re-asked the question. I was stunned and impressed. Afterward, when we were calm and kinda laughing about it, she told me how frustrating it was to deal with me acting like that. I beat stuff to the point of dead horse, but couldn't take criticism without devolving into a middle school girl. Ouch, but true. When explained this way, with calm and humor, I got how right she was, and I changed. My dad is just like your mom, from childhood till now. It's beyond irritating and drives me insane. Don't let her continue to verbally/emotionally abuse you, you deserve better. I totally agree, and the problem with that is when I try that, she goes nuclear. I just won't ask you for anything ever again, you won't have to worry about me anymore, etc. I really don't know how to even approach it without her trying to act the victim. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but it has to want to change. Your mother has to want to change, which she probably won't do without consequences. My mother is exactly like this, especially if the subject of mine and my siblings' horrendous childhoods, at her hands, comes up in conversation for some reason. I know, I'm just a terrible mother. I should just go kill myself. Etc. Update: ever point out something your mother did wrong and you get the silent treatment as a result? Yeah, we're on day 4 of this BS. Welp, she cracked after a week of silence. Predictably, she needed me for something, so she invited me to come over this morning so she could figure out what she did wrong, but I didn't go until late this afternoon. I waited on her, she can wait on me. Of course, she started by finding ignorance, talking about she was hurt when I called her out on her BS, claiming the reason I got ignored for 3 hours is because she's trying to figure out what she possibly could have done. My response? Well, maybe we could have figured that out together if you had used your words instead of ignoring me for hours and then the rest of the week. So, person shrugging, she claimed she stayed silent again because of the hurt and still claiming to not know what she did, yet vows apparently to never do it again. Yeah, right, I'll take bets on that. It's so convenient that she gets to claim ignorance or forgetfulness when enough time has passed, so somehow she still comes out looking like the victim. When my blood pressure feels up to it, we might have another more in-depth conversation now that the petty silence is over, but for now it feels like a small win. I got my point across, did not claim responsibility for any of it, because I know I didn't do jack shit this time, and I stayed calm and did not yell. And I can tell she was expecting it. So not the most glorious of updates, but at least I held my ground. Several people, including my mother and myself, were talking. Don't remember the topic of conversation, but I mentioned how my mother had washed my mouth out with soap more than once. She even made me do it myself at one point. She yelled out that no, she'd never done that. It's definitely not something I would have made up. Would she also have denied all the times she beat me? So it's not just my mother that has selective memory or rewrites history. If she will deny one form of abuse, what's to stop her from denying another form of abuse? It is very, very likely that she would also deny the beatings, and I'm so sorry. Write her a letter and itemize all the crap she is/does pull. Keep a copy for yourself. Then she can read it, play up, and then you can try to discuss it with your copy in hand. I resorted to the letter with my grandmother. She had nowhere to argue back because I used facts and no emotion. Now don't do this, write it down for yourself, but don't give it her. She will use it in two ways: A, gaslight you, try saying you're remembering wrong and painting her to be a villain for no reason. B, she'll use it to find more ways to emotionally abuse you. She ought to learn that too much forgetfulness may be the onset of dementia. If that's the case, OP will be making all the decisions. Cut her off. I don't say that lightly, but what's her motivation to change? She's a master manipulator. It's bad for your emotional/physical health and overall well-being. Grown adult still keeping this toxic person in their life, then complaining about it. Op did this to themselves. Show her the missing reasons essay and ask her if she wants to be asking her friends in a few years why she never hears from you, because she doesn't understand what she did wrong, or does she want to change now? My mom used the silent treatment on me from the time I was in kindergarten up until the last time we talked. I told we'd talk again when she apologized for calling me stupid and ugly. To my face. On my birthday. I'll be 5 years next month. Are you familiar with gaslighting? That's when one person tries to make another question their memories or even their sanity by either denying that something happened, but it really did happen, or claiming that something did happen, but it didn't. Good for you, holding your ground. However, if you really want to have the more in-depth conversation, please don't expect it to end any differently. Your mother is an expert victim, and I question whether there's any conflict or disagreement where she won't be able to make herself look like the victim. Has she ever taken responsibility for anything where she might possibly be at fault? If so, there may be hope, but from what you have written here, it doesn't seem likely. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.